Hi everybody, it's Lene. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel today. So on my last video, I did a giveaway for my Queen Elizabeth junk journal and added a few things to that. And that's kind of my standard size junk journal. I've done larger ones. I consider that one a medium one. So hey, let's do a small one. Let's do a really small one. So I have gone through my paper stash again and even my recycling bin to find true junk. Okay, this is old stuff, pieces of stuff, or literal trash, and we're going to make a tiny tiny junk journal from it. So if that's something that's interesting, keep watching. We're also going to give it away, so keep watching and I'll give you more details at the end how you can win this for your very own, or to share with a friend. I like to share my things with my friends. All right, so let's just first take a look at what we're going to put in this thing, because I think sometimes that's the biggest challenge. It's not constructing it, it's ideas about what you have around your house that you can put in it. Okay, so first off, you guys, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know I love to recycle an envelope. So of course I have a couple of envelopes, but there's a difference here. One I tore open using a letter opener at the top, okay, and then the other one is pristine and opens this way. So we're going to use them both in different ways. I have a couple of little 4-inch paper doilies, which is my preferred size. One of them is pretty messed up, so we're going to use that anyway. I have a little scrap of heart and dot vellum. I have a quarter of a sheet of some, well, I guess maybe half. How big is this? What's a 6x6? Of a full-size 12 by 12 with this great text on it. I cannot tell you what it's from. I've had it for so long. I've got a half a sheet of old music. I've got another envelope. I've got a little bit left of this really beautiful kind of copper metallic paper. A little bit of handmade paper, or mulberry paper actually. I have a tip for you on how to tear that effectively. A little bit left, quite a bit left, of this Cork self-adhesive sheet that I got at the Dollar Tree. And then for pages, I love to use grid paper. This is just my daughter's old pack of grid paper from math class in high school that I kept. She's like, I don't need this anymore. And I'm like, oh, honey, we need that. So I kept that. Old coin envelope. Okay, an old envelope, and then of course more of that paper. Kids don't write on this anymore, do they? So I have many packs of this left over from school for my daughter. And we've got just a paper bag, just a grocery sack. Okay, this one, the only printing on it is right here. Might use that printing. And then this is I think September Vogue magazine. I don't buy Vogue magazine. My friends and I, we buy magazines and then we swap them. So I have a friend who does buy Vogue magazine. I love the pictures, so I'm going to use probably this one because I love the dog. I love the black and white. I love that. And then, like, how do you choose pictures from a magazine? I like just things like this. They make great embellishments. Very simple. Always too, if you're going to use the other side of it, look what's on the other side. So if you're going to use it as a page, I love this one. I'm not sure if I'll use it front and back. And this flower is pretty cool. We'll use those. So this is awesome. And look at this. I love this with the dog kind of going out the door. So we probably will use that. All right, so that's how I use my magazines and where I get my magazines. So the first thing we're going to do is we have to decide really how big this is going to be. I'm thinking 3 by 4. So if that's the case, then I need to kind of just start folding. What I like to do first is fold everything, see how big my pieces are, and then I can cut them down. All right, so for this, for example, I could just fold it just like that, the notebook paper. I'm thinking I even love keeping the holes in the paper. I can cut this in half and then have a bunch of pages from that. So I'm thinking about doing that. And then this one, we can either seal this and then open the ends of it and have little pockets, or we can seal it and cut it and use for pockets that way. So I'm not sure. Let's go ahead and seal it. Let's take a little glue. I would use saliva, but we're filming this, so let's just go ahead and use some glue. All right, so I'm going to open the ends of that. Now I love the coin envelope. And then this is, let's measure 5 1/4 by 2 3/4. So this could just go in the book like this, or it could be folded like this. I'm kind of wanting to fold it. Okay, and also when you're starting to fold thicker things like this, a bone folder, a butter knife, it's always nice to have. Okay, and so that we've got the grid paper as well. And I think I'm going to use the cork on the outside as part of the cover. Cork is great for stamping on. It just really takes color beautifully if you want to ink it or do things like that. So I'm going to put this aside for now. Okay, here's my tip for tearing mulberry or handmade paper. Just has some little bit of water here. I'm just going to actually spray it in my hand because I didn't put down my mat. And I'm just going to draw a line with the water here. All right, and then when you tear it, not only does that water, I like to call it, it's kind of a ditch, but it's just this path of water, and it helps keep it straight, and it gives it a, well, you know, relatively straight, controlled, and then it's got this really nice feathered look to it. All right, so as opposed to when you tear it dry, it kind of goes everywhere. It still has a pretty nice feathered edge, but it's not a controlled tear. So that's my tip for this. We'll see how we're going to use that. Not sure how we're going to use that. Definitely going to fold this one in half, I think like this, and I think we're going to utilize the flaps on these. So how that works, going to cut this part right here, and then I like to cut a little bit extra away from it so that it has room to move in the spine. Okay, so it's going to be, here's the spine of the book, and then you can open these up and put little things in them, and we'll have little things ideas too. Probably going to use this one just as is. Same with this. This we can actually cut off the barcode. Okay, probably going to just fold this. I love the hearts on this. All right, these I'm probably going to go ahead and use those as some kind of a pocket inside. Like, what if we did like this? Turned it like this, glued it like this, and then this is a pocket. Okay, and then we've got this one, which we're going to glue, and then we're going to open this one up on the ends, and that's going to make a great pocket too. Okay, like that. And so when we fold this, like that, it's got great little pockets on the side. And then this one, we're going to go ahead and fold, I think this way, and then we're going to have top loading pockets on this one. All right, so we've got to look at what's going into this mini junk journal, and I'm going to take a few minutes and get my sizing figured out and my cover figured out, and then we'll come back. You can see what I've got. All right, we're back, and we have decided on a size. So this is going to be the little junk journal size. It's going to be 3 inches wide by 4.5 inches tall. All right, that means that you're going to cut things to fold. They need to be 7 inches wide by 4.5 inches tall. Okay, with the exception of the cover, we want the cover to be just a little bit larger than that. So I'm going to start by cutting down the cover. Well, I cut down lots of other things, but let's talk about the cover first. So the cover I'm using, I think I'm going to use, we're going to see how this works out. I may just go, oh, that was a terrible idea. But I cut down the paper bag, so it's just like this gusset is left, all right? I cut it so it had, I don't know, that's about 1/4 inch right above what would be the bottom of the bag, all right? And I'm thinking, what if I folded this, all right, and I cut it to size, okay? But I kept this part intact up here. What a cute little pocket on the outside. So let's just try it, all right? Let's just see how it goes. So the first thing I need to do is normally, let me find my bone folder. Here we go. We want to get a nice crisp fold on this. As I said, we're just going to see how it goes. This is all part of the process. And then you might wonder, like, what's all this going to be? Well, we're going to cover this with paper, and then we're going to have a cool little pocket right here on the top, okay? And then on the sides, I don't know, maybe we'll keep those pockets, or maybe we'll glue them all nice and flat. But regardless, it's going to be nice and sturdy. So I want to cut this down so that the fold is intact and the little pocket is intact. So I'm going to be cutting from this side. And I'm going to cut it, if all of my papers inside are 3 inches wide, I'm going to go with like 3 1/4 because I want to give them a little room on the cover. Now I'm going to try to cut all through this together. I don't know if it's going to work. Let's try. I'm going to put a lot of pressure on my blade. That poor blade's going to need to get replaced. Okay, well, it got almost all the way through. Pretty good. Oh, and there's a tag. All right, so we're going to go ahead and cut that. Okay. Thinking, what can I use those for? All right, pretty good, pretty good. All right, so that's 3 1/4, and then we're going to turn that, because remember we want to keep this. We're going to turn that, and this was 4 1/2. We're going to add another 1/4 inch, so now it's going to be 4 3/4. Let's just do the same thing. Essentially, it's just kind of scoring it that we're going to have to cut through it a little bit. Yeah, there we go. All right, so that's going to be, I think the cover. All right, let's put this away for now. All right, let's do some gluing. If I can find my glue. Where's my glue? All right, so, okay, that piece we lost. And that piece we lost. Those are just pieces that came loose while the process was happening. All right, so this is, okay, yeah. We cut apart a bunch of stuff here, so I'm not sure if this is gonna work. But this could be the inside. And we're just gonna glue this right there. And we're going to glue this. Let's see how it works. Okay, so that's going to be the inside. And then these pieces we're not going to be using as a side pocket. So we just want to glue that down. Make sure all of these pieces are secure. Because if I'm giving this to somebody, I don't want them to be all like, what's this? And then have things that aren't supposed to open. Leaving room for that pocket. Okay, there we go. Little pocket here, little pocket there. And all I did was take that entire bottom of the bag, leave it flat, folded it, left the fold intact, left that little lip at the top where the rest of the bag was, and then I cut down here and here. Okay, I think that worked. I think it worked. All right, so let's talk about what's going on the inside here. Just lost my mic. Okay, so I cut down this part of the bag, which was the top part, and I kind of like this. I don't know if I'm going to leave it or cover it. And then I liked this part here that you can tell it's a bag. Now this part did not get cut off, so let's trim that. All right, so that's a page that can go in there. And then I have a couple more. This is from like the side of the bag. I don't know that I'm going to use all of these, but we have some. All right, for sure going to use this one. I'm going to put this cover aside so we can kind of start piling here. So I don't want this to go right. I don't want this to be the first page. So I'm going to put this down like that. And then I have this envelope. Remember, this is the one where I cut the center and it was going to have side pockets, or it was going to have top pockets rather, like this. Well, I had to cut it down because we're doing a 3-inch wide. So I just cut some from this side, but we're going to go ahead and sort of also recreate this one. Put a little glue right there. I'm just doing a custom size recycled envelope. All right, like that. So we still have our little flaps. I'm just going to do this. What else have I got here? I've got some grid paper that I cut 7 inches wide by 4.5. And I also have here we go. I have the magazine. The little dog is playing, and then the back of this just kind of reads plain. We're going to put something over this, so that's going to be kind of cool. And then you guys, I have a little doily that I folded in half. We're going to do that. And then I have another envelope. Remember this one, we glued this flap down, and then I just cut open each end. And how I'm doing this is I'm laying this color-wise because I think this will look pretty against this, but it'll also look pretty against that. I wouldn't want to put this up against white because then you wouldn't get the full benefit of it. I'm going to do that. And then I've got this little piece of vellum that I cut down, also 7 by 4.5, folded. All right, and then I've got some notebook paper, but I don't want to put that right there. So let's see what else I've got. Let's try maybe another one of these paper bag pages. I've got this one that has that kind of cut edge along the top. I like that because it's just obviously a paper bag. All right, now I've got my music paper right here. That's really cool. Also have another envelope I've cut open on the sides here. Let's do that. Okay, let's see what we're looking like here. Okay, I'm liking all that. I think I'm going to take one of these book pages and I'm just going to slip it right in there so it's at the beginning, like it's at the center of the book rather. Can go there. I've also cut out some more of these magazine pieces like this. I sort of cut them down with a cute little dog, cute little flower, and we'll be adding those in later. All right, I've got my music paper. What else can I use? Oh yeah, I've got my handmade paper here. I keep calling it handmade, but it's mulberry paper. Take that little torn piece off. I'm gonna put that in half. Okay, do I need to cut it down? Just a little bit. That's gonna go in the center too, I think. All right, so let's take a look. This is how we're gonna be flipping through it. Oops, missed the little doily there. That's gonna be really cute. Then you get the ocean scene. Get some grid paper, an envelope, get that cool paper bag, some of that, a little mulberry. Okay, I think we're looking good. All right, and then I think maybe one more. We already got grid in here. What else shall we add? I think maybe, I think I'm going to use this for matting some things. Okay. All right, I think we're gonna call it good. We're gonna add one more grid paper in here. All right, I like that. And then you guys, that's gonna go right in here in our cover. We wanna make sure that is folded really nicely. And then I've got a couple of little clamps. Now some of my pages are going over the edge. I must not have cut them right. So I'm gonna have to take care of that and cut those down. I think I got carried away on the 4.5 inch or the 7-inch wide piece. So anyway, these are gonna get clamped just like this. And we'll put another one right here. And then I'm going to get my binding stuff ready. We're going to do a little just 3-stitch binding right there. Super simple. It's my favorite one to use because everybody can do it. And I'm going to take care of these little odd paper bag pieces, and then we'll come right back. All right, we are back. It turns out I had cut those paper bag pieces to 3.5 inches, or rather 8 inches wide, and had to trim them down. So we're good now. All right, so we're gonna start off with an awl and some waxed twine and a needle with a really wide eye at the top, so you can thread that in. I got all of these on Amazon in a little kit. They were very inexpensive and I use them all the time. So I'll put the link down there for you guys to check it out. All right, so to do our little 3-stitch binding, we're gonna put a hole here, here, and here. All right, and the way you do this is just punch it through. We're going to make sure our fingers are out of the way, but they're still giving support. Punching, 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 and they should go right through that little fold right there. And I like to get this in there so it's a nice large hole. Then the other way, I like to leave about 1 inch from each end, but this is a really small book, so we might go 3/4 of an inch right there. We're going to do the exact same thing. Don't worry, my fingers are out of the way because this awl is super sharp. And in case you're searching it, it's AWL. All right, now I'm gonna need this one. There we go. Okay, holes are punched. Now, how much twine do you need? Usually take this and measure once, twice, 3 times the length of whatever it is you're stitching, and then I add another inch just because I'm insecure about it. All right, I'm gonna put this away. So we're gonna start from the inside of the book because I want the little tail that's going to be in there for knotting to be on the inside. If you want it to be on the outside with showing the little knot, you start from the outside. So we're gonna go through the first little hole and we're gonna leave about 2 inches right there. Okay, that little tail. Now you can either go to the top or the bottom. It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna go here. Okay, we're pulling that tight, but not so tight that it pulls our tail through. Now we're gonna go all the way to the top. Like that. That's what it looks like on the inside. And that's what it's going to look on the outside before you do your last stitch. It's got this little loop here. Don't worry, that's going to tighten up. Now we're going to take this and we're going to go back through this hole. But when I do that, I like to hold the tail to one side so that I don't stitch through the tail. There we go, because sometimes you can just stitch right through one of those. And it's okay, you just have to go back. I'm going to get rid of my needle now so I don't lose it. And now I'm just going to pull the slack. There we go. Now you'll notice I have one tail on the left, one on the right, and the centerpiece is in between. And now I'm going to tie a knot. Just an overhand knot. We're going to tie it once this way and once this way. And then we're going to just trim those tails about 1/2 inch long. That's it, and now it's all bound. I love to show that to people because it is very easy. And if you don't have all of these supplies to use, if you don't have an awl, you could use like a thumbtack that has a little handle on it. It's a really thick thumbtack. That works. You can also use some dental floss if you don't have the wax thread. It's just minty fresh version of the same thing. And you can use any kind of sewing needle as long as it has an eye that's large enough to get that thread through. That's all. All right, so we've got our book here. Oh wow, look at that. Too much slack. Okay, that's why I like to leave my ties a little bit long, because sometimes we have to undo this. I'm kind of like both horrified and happy that that happened because we checked, right? We did, we looked. Okay, so when you go like this, you want to make sure that all of that is super tight. Okay, that's good. There. All right, now we're just going to retie that. No worries there. Like that. And like that. There we go. All right, so we've got our little pocket on this side, and we've got a little pocket on this side. And so now we get to do the fun part and like put things on these pages, decorate them. We have all these little pockets and things. So let's take a proper flip through. That's a pocket, page. I love how that looks. Another pocket, little doily. Magazine, grid paper, another little pocket. That's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's looking junky. I like it. And just the other side, just the reverse of all of those things. I love the dog. He's so cute. All right. All right. So we'll be right back. I'm going to show you what we're going to put on the inside. All right, so let's take a look at the cover. I've got my little bit of cork cut down. And remember, this is self-adhesive, so that's just going to save a nice little gluing step. If I can get it done, there we go. And I decided not to ink or stamp on it. I'm just going to leave it just like this. And then I've got a little scrap. I literally dug these scraps out of my recycle bin. And don't be shocked, I do throw paper away in the recycle bin. I think because I'm in the paper biz, I don't value paper as much as a lot of people do, because when I kind of have an infinite supply of it. But I do not recycle my paper often, like maybe once every 2 months. So I have a huge stash of little scraps. That's how I organize my scraps. That, truth be told, they're just all in a giant bin, and then I just paw through it, and then it kind of inspires me about what to do with it. I'll find some cool paper like this and I'll be like, oh yeah, I want to use that. So that's the truth, you guys. I don't organize my scraps. All right, here's that cute little cutout from the magazine. Let's use that. It's pretty thin paper, so I'm going to take it easy on the glue. Put that right there. Now I do want to show my cork, but I also have this really cool piece here. So I love this torn edge, so I think I'm just gonna sneak over here on my cutting and cut it down. Like that. And I'm gonna take a little brown ink just to emphasize that tear, and we can put that like right there. But I am going to have to cut this down a little bit. It's a little too wide. I was going to say, maybe we'll use the other side. Oh, I cut it too wide. It's okay. I want to move this up a little bit so we can see that cork. All right, I'm going to have to just wing that, cut that down. All right. There we go. Now, I'd like to put a little dimension on my cover, so I have a little scrap of ribbon. It's just kind of like an ivory and pink gingham, just so cute. So we're going to go ahead and tie a little bow. And the thing I always like to say is, you tie it once, it's never done. You have to manipulate a bow quite a bit. There. Now, I also like to cut the ends at an angle or sometimes a little dovetail. Like that. That could go there, that could go there. I'm not decided yet. We're going to wait because it's going to probably fall off when I glue it on because I didn't heat up my hot glue. So we're going to put that right there for now. All right, let's go to the inside. So I took that little magazine piece with our cute little dog. I loved the architecture here. I love the flowers. Then I also took another scrap of paper and I covered the front of this envelope because it was like that little cellophane window. Sometimes using the cellophane window is great, sometimes not so great. So this is a great place to put just also another little scrap. I took my 1.5 inch circle punch, inked the edges of that, folded it in half. It makes just a really easy pull. That can just go right there. Okay, now we've got pieces like this that we can take more little scraps. You know, these little pieces that you're always like, that's cool paper, but I don't necessarily want to get rid of it. We're going to turn that into a little dovetail piece, just like that. And we can just glue that like this. We can glue it like this, not all the way gluing it, so that it's a little flap, so that whoever wins this could stick a photo under it. They could do whatever they wanted to. They could glue it down. So that goes right there. And then I'm going to leave this white for now. We've got our beautiful vellum. I love this right here, this envelope with this, but it needs, I don't mind leaving places like this for journaling, but I don't necessarily like leaving it like this. So I've got some more paper that is just a scrap. So what if, not like that. That's not torn, it's a cut edge where I cut something out, but I'm kind of liking that. So and then we could just glue that on, or we could make a pocket. Okay, so we could put something there. All right, so this is the back of the beach page, and I do like that leather coat. I think that's pretty cool texture, but I don't necessarily just want to leave it like that. So I have this little cutout piece with a little scene on it, and I like the way that looks around it. That's pretty cool. So just a little bit of ink to pick up the brown in the picture, and then I think I will make a pocket. We're going to leave the side open for a little tuck spot right there. Just take something, a little tag, put it right in there. All right. So we've got a flap right here, and then I could just cover that. I really like leaving that. I think we're going to do that. Great places to journal. I'm going to leave those. Okay, this one definitely needs to be covered, so I'm going to do that as well. I need to use this on something. And then we've got the other side of this. And so I'm going to go ahead and take care of those pieces. We'll do a final flip through. I wanted to show you too, I've got these little chipboard pieces that I've had for years. They're from Bow Bunny laser cut chipboard. I want to put those in there. I've also got some of these little pins, you know, like the little bulb pins, and I've got some things to hang from them. And I'm thinking how cool to do something hanging on the outside and make use of this as well. I also wanted to show you guys, remember the coin envelope? I forgot to use it. I was so disappointed when I turned the camera off and I was like, no! So we're definitely going to use that. think we're going to put it right here. And what I did with it, I'm going to glue it right there, but I wanted to show you the little paper clip is the closure for this. We're going to open that up. Okay, I just put little pieces of scrap paper there, but I opened the bottom up. So there's a pocket here and there's a pocket here. But I want to make sure to be able to utilize that little closure, just a little scrap ribbon tying it. So we're only going to glue it here and here. And it will stay in place just fine so that this can be moved in and out. All right, so when I come back, we're going to do a final flip through and you'll see what else I've got going on. All right, you know, I realized once I got the inside done, I forgot to account for a closure, and this little chunky boy is going to need a closure. So to keep in our theme of junk, this is a piece of I think it's probably 2 millimeters of white elastic cord. You know the elastic you get when they tie shoes together, like at Target stuff? That's what this is. This is literally off a pair of shoes. So what I'm going to do is fortunately, my gluing wasn't too great on the cover, and there's a little bit right back here. So I would normally suggest you do this at the very beginning, but that was an oopsie. And I'm going to take a little hot glue, just put it on the end of this, and we're going to kind of separate this, and we're going to stick that right in there and hold, and thank goodness. Okay, so then for the closer, what we're going to do is going to wrap this. You don't need to even wrap it tight. I think like 3 times. All right, and then we're going to cut this to about there, I think. So we're just going to take this and we're going to thread it through the button, and then we're just going to knot it. Just like that. Make sure that's nice and strong, and then we're just going to clip that. So the closure is going to just work like this. That'll just get tucked right under there. It'll just get tucked right under there like that. All right, so let's take a look at, if I can get the closure undone now, at what I did on the inside to finish up. So we've got a little sort of dangle on the outside here using those little bulb pins, and I got this little collection. It was sort of a grab bag of charms on Temu, and I'll put the link down there, but you're not going to get the same charms. But I had a little tree, a little fan, a little bird, and I just threaded those on, put a little pink ribbon on there. So you can see I hot glue my bow right there. So let's get into the inside. We've already seen this pocket, but on the other side I just glued a little scrap of paper. You already saw this. I put one of those little chipboard clocks right there. On the inside here we have another little tag. Here we have a little tag that says hello. Okay, and then it's our ocean, and then here put a little scrap here. Inside here another little tag. And here I just sort of cut the paper around the flaps. This is from the magazine, use that. Here's a little scrap left over from the vellum, put a little dovetail notch in that. And people ask me all the time about gluing vellum. I generally just glue it with the same Cosmic Shimmer Specialist acrylic glue that I've been using, but then I just cover it with something. So it's just all about hiding it, you know, so your glue kind of shows through. All right, then we've got some journaling pages here. And then here's another pocket. And on the other side of that, oops, I just used that leftover scrap of the music paper. Oops, that got glued on there. Then just use that copper paper. Just another little scrap. We've already seen the coin envelope, little double pocket. a little scrap there of the cork, and on the inside a little tag, and that's it, you guys. So here's the deal. I love to give away my projects to my subscriber friends. So if you like, comment, and subscribe, we will wait about a week, and then we will choose someone to win. I'm just really struggling with this. There we go. We will choose someone to win, and then you guys, we will let you know in next week's video. And then you would just need to watch next week's video, see your name, see your YouTube username, and follow the instructions on how to claim your prize. Thanks so much for joining me today, you guys. I had fun putting together this little mini junk journal, and I hope you give it a try too. I'll see you next time.